Do you want to hear about the time I crashed a car? That's right, I did crash a car. In fact, I completely totaled it, completely wrecked. There was no driving it ever again. The story does get a little bit hectic. There is actually a bit of trauma, I guess, from this story. The fact that I put my brother in a hospital and a medically induced coma. The fact that I messed my sister's knee up permanently, which means she can't do her passion, which is dancing. There's a lot of unfortunate events and circumstance that came, or consequences that came out of this story, but it is something that happened, so I'm going to share it. I had just come back from New Zealand, and a bunch of friends and myself have decided that we are going to go to the movies. It's raining outside. That's why we were like, hey, movies sound good, a mall and movies. So we were like, cool, let's go and do that. We all climb into the car. It was a Hyundai iX35, and it was one of the best cars I ever drove. I hadn't had my license for long, so I was still in that arrogant phase of like, look at me, I'm driving, I'm cool, I'm going fast, yada yada. A friend of mine actually decided that he wanted to drive, so I was like, yeah, you can drive. So we drove to his place so that he could pick something up, and while he was inside, I decided to climb into the driver's seat because I was like, yeah, it's my turn to drive, I'm gonna show off now. We had chicks in the back and things like that. So I climbed into the front, he then climbed in next to me. There are some funny moments in this story, so it's not all bad and trauma. There's actually some juice to it. And looking back on it, it's pretty fine. But anyway, so the way we were all sitting is that I had my now ex-girlfriend on the right. I had my sister next to her, either on the right or left of her. No. I had her on the right, my brother next to her, and then my sister was on the left side of the car. So there were 4 people in the back where only 3 should have been. So that was the first mistake that we made. Although I've made that mistake plenty more times since then, which maybe I shouldn't admit to, but whatever. But back then I should have worried about it. Then I had my friend, my best friend at the time. Well, both of those dudes in the car were my best friends at the time. But this was like my childhood friend. We'd grown up together, and he was sitting next to me in the front passenger seat. He climbed in, and I then drove down a road. So instead of just going that way to the mall, I decided I was going to go forward and down and up because I wanted to drive more. I wanted to show off my driving. I mean, more than that, it was the fact that I did want to drive more. I really liked driving, and even back then I really liked driving, even with the temporary fear of when you're a new driver, you know, you see traffic and you're like, oh no, I don't want to sit in that. And then you kind of get used to it, but I wasn't yet completely used to it. I hadn't driven a lot because I got my license, and then I went straight to New Zealand. But we'll talk about that later, the story of how I got my driver's license eventually after 3 years of trying. I'm not kidding. But that story will come up later on. So I was driving down this road, and it had been raining, and apparently it hadn't been raining a lot. So now, with the new rain of the season, all the oil from the roads had come up, all the jacarandas had spilled onto the road, and of course you've got the slipperiness of the rain. My mind was thinking, woohoo, time to have fun, not maybe this is a time to be cautious. We were driving down this road, and we were going fast. We were going about 70 on a 60 road, and you know that when it's raining like that, you shouldn't even be going 60, you should be going 10 or 20 kilometers below. This time though, I wasn't going the speed limit, I was going at least 10 above it. I can even remember the song that was playing as we hit that crash. The road wasn't in good condition as well. It's South Africa, roads in terrible condition. This place I just came back from a work trip. I would rather drive on the dirt than on the actual road. The road was so bad that it wasn't even good for 4x4s. You want to see these roads? Have a look at these roads. Have a look at these roads. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. I don't know even if you can see it, but look how terrible. I really don't know if you can see it. The shades are doing like a zebra thing where you can't really see, but look, this is why off-road. Moving on, that's just a side tip. I'll talk about that in another video as well. So I was driving down this road, and I decided I was going to go fast because I'm going to show off. So I started hitting the gas, and then we went over these bumpy road sections, and I started feeling myself losing a little bit of control, but I was laughing. I was like, it's fun times. And I hit the brake, the handbrake. I pulled the handbrake this side because we drive on the right side. So I pulled the handbrake. Then the car started losing control. Now the issue was, I don't know if I was going to have control before I got to that road. So we were heading for an intersection. The car was already a little bit slippery and I was going fast. I don't know if I was going to get to the thing on time. I pulled the handbrake. Part of me was thinking, yeah, fun, we're going to skid. Part of me was thinking, maybe it's a good idea to start slowing down. Whatever it was that made me do it, I did it, pulled the handbrake, and we started skidding. And I started feeling the car doing this, and then my smile was gone instantly. I was like, hey, yeah. And everyone knew what was going on because the whole car went quiet. I could just hear the song going. It was The Thunder Rolls by All That Remains, just if you want to check it out. Going down the road, pulled the handbrake, started skidding. I tried to gain control of the car. There's enough distance. If I can get control of the car, I'm going to try and get control of the car. But it was not working. It was going side to side. We were on oil. We were on wet roads, and there was jacarandas. So this thing was going, and I realized it. So all I was doing was just trying to keep it from flipping over to see if it would stop, because we were on a slope as well, like this. So I was trying to like do this, and then I was trying to like stop the slope, and it was not working. Eventually what happened is we did this and then did this, and then the car went like this, and then basically, I don't know how it didn't flip over, but it literally went from like doing this to like this. So it was like, wah. At this point, all control was lost. So we then went into this giant rock, probably even the size of me now. So if I make myself even a little bit bigger, it was the size of me like this. Hit that rock went flying down the street, smashed ourselves into a tree, which now looks completely fine, but back then it didn't look so fine. But it was a huge freaking tree, so it was okay. Smashed ourselves into a tree, which luckily stopped us. Ended up somehow from there. I don't remember this. You don't remember it while you're in the crash. It's just happening. I just know what happened because of that first reaction when it hit the rock. I was still conscious. Then afterwards, I know what happened because I could see the trail that we left behind. But anyways, hit the rock. As soon as we hit the rock, my conscious cut out. So I don't remember the rock flying, but I could see that it went flying afterwards. We then hit the tree. Again, kind of just a blur, not really super conscious. And then we were on the other side of the road. So somehow we went from being on that side where we hit the tree on the pavement to being on the other side of the road. So we got there. Everything was then halted. And I was in panic mode, dude. I was like, I didn't know if I was okay, but I felt like I was okay. So my first reaction was like, is everyone else okay? The first thing I said was like, is everyone okay? And then I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know how to react to the situation. So I just climbed out, and then I looked, and everyone was not okay. Most people were okay. I can't use names. I don't know if names are appropriate on these videos online, but my ex climbed out. My sister climbed out. My other old friend climbed out, and my friend in the passenger side climbed out as well. The one person that didn't climb out was my brother. My brother was lying in the back, looking dead, dude. He was luckily making noises, so I knew he wasn't dead, but holy shit, it was terrifying. It literally looked like he was dying there. So I was just in panic mode. I was like, I don't know what to do. Luckily, there was a bystander who came and helped us. He contacted everyone that needed contacting. We didn't do anything. We didn't have to do anything. Everything happened for us. There was people came around us to help us. Then there was just ambulance. Then there was just police. Then there was just this and this and this. And we didn't have a part to play in any of that. Everyone else was just like, let's help these people. So it was really nice of them all to do that. Then the dude was helping my brother, kind of getting him to lie down, things like that, because he was just like there like this, like just blood everywhere. And what actually happened was that he got brain bleeding, brain damage. So they had to put him in a medically induced coma for a few days. His story of that is that when he came out of it and they put him on these special drugs, he says that it was some of the best experience he had because he was just high, just experiencing all this weird shit going on, unicorns and stuff like that. And my other friend that was sitting in the passenger seat, he told me the story afterwards of what he did is the car stopped and he was just, and he's just, as soon as the car stops, he just climbs out, he does this. He climbs out, he goes, and he just bends down on the road and starts crying. Like, yes, it was it was sad, but it's pretty funny at the same time, and we both laughed at it. The miracle about that was that if anyone in the car should have been damaged, it was him, because his side of the car was in, so there was not even space for him to be in, and somehow he just climbed out completely fine. All he had was a swollen cheek. I don't know even how he did that, if he bit his cheek or something like that, but he just had a swollen cheek. He went to the hospital. then came back that night to stay the night with us. After the crash, I went with my ex and my friend that was in the back to my friend's house because his mom came to help us out. So we climbed into her car and she took us to her home so we didn't have to deal with the situation because my brother had now been put on an ambulance and taken to the hospital. Luckily, he's fine. Luckily, everyone's fine. Apparently, he does still have permanent damage on his face. Like he can't feel certain parts of his face, which I am really sorry about. I can't do anything about it. Same with my sister. My sister was a dancer and now she struggles to do movement with her leg because of her knee. So she had to have an operation where they put muscle that wasn't in places. They stretch it out and put muscle there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for liking. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment if you've ever crashed a car. I've had a lot more car incidents, but never I've had another car accident. But maybe I'll share the car incidents as one splurge of information in one story time. Just because there was a time where I was doing that a lot, but there's deeper meaning behind it. Anyways though, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.